What is the number one reason atheists give for the non-existence of God? Answer. Taking the wording of the question as asked, the answer as, what the fuck are you asking atheists why gods are non-existent for? I think you mean, what is the number one reason atheists give for not believing in the existence of any God, but especially my God? And the number one answer, based on my opinion only, is the complete and utter lack of any demonstrably evidence to support that any of these gods exists, including yours. Now, someone has asked a few of the atheists who have answered your question the ever-popular, so what evidence would you require to convince you that God is real? And many atheists have answered with the same evidence that you would require to accept that Odin or some other god is real. My answer to this trite question is always the same. I do not know what evidence I would require, but I assume that your omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent and all-loving, benevolent, supernatural, invisible friend does know what evidence I would require and is either 1. Choosing not to provide me with this evidence, so not really benevolent and is no more relevant that a non-existent God. 2. Would provide the evidence if it could but it can't, so not really omnipotent. 3. Could provide the evidence if it only knew what it was, so not really omniscient. 4. Knows and wants to provide the evidence but is too busy right now, but it is on its to-do list, so not really omnipresent. 5. Does not exist. Why doesn't God exist? Beat me. Perhaps because there is absolutely no need for a god to exist or for a supernatural realm to exist in which these gods live and create natural realms in order for the natural realm to actually exist. Why don't I believe that a god exists? Because there is no demonstrable evidence to support the assertions that any do. Why don't I believe that your God, the one so creatively called God, exists? Because there is demonstrable evidence that proves this God was created by men to fill in gaps of knowledge, and that one of the best sources of evidence is the very book used as evidence by those who do believe in this God character. I'll be straight and give you my reasons. First of all, there are so many religions out there and so many gods, and all of them have different stories. Now they can't all be right at the same time, can they? There's no scientific or logical explanation to believe in a supernatural creator. While there is huge amounts of scientific proof and data about the Darwinian evolution, people say about that, how can we have a perfect design if there is no creator? But once if you understand about the process of natural selection, you would realize that no creator is needed to achieve this perfect design, it just happens by itself over millions of years. Now it's really hard for us humans to imagine such huge amounts of time, i.e. millions of years. That is one of the reasons people have a hard time believing in the process of evolution. If you just give some time to think about it and use a little intellect, you would also come to the same realization. God is actually an outdated concept to explain how things work in nature and supernatural phenomenons. It's very easy. If something cannot be explained logically, then it's a work of God. Wow. If we cannot explain something, that doesn't mean that there is no explanation for it. Today we don't need God. We have perfectly logical scientific explanation about most of the things around us, and this understanding is constantly growing. Now either you can dwell in a cave with this concept of God or choose to come out and experience the beauty of this world. I am also aware of the fact that religion also helps people in many ways. According to me, you don't need God or a religion to be a good person. You don't need religion to have morals. If you can't determine right from wrong, then you lack empathy, not religion. Sorry to add this answer when I see already 100 plus answers which obviously I haven't read, but hope my answer is taking a different approach. Why don't atheists believe in God? The key reason is that they think for themselves rather than simply follow the crowd or their family tradition. Have you wondered why you and other theists believe in your own gods? Most people who do believe in God or gods do so simply because that is the tradition in their family, that's how they were brought up, and even the thought of questioning those beliefs was considered blasphemous, inadmissible, or really bad conduct, at least during those childhood years when curiosity peaks. Then of course as you transition to adulthood, it is very satisfying to believe in that God, whichever ones you have been by now accustomed to, because they provide a sort of parent-like figure that you can talk to, thank them for your good fortunes and blame them for your misfortunes, hold them responsible for your own actions and decisions. Then there are professional, tax-free organizations who peddle religious belief because they positively gain financially through playing with the weaknesses in ordinary people, giving them false hope, while separating them from their money. Check out the Vatican Bank for example.